Disclaimer. I was given a free review copy from the devs. This does not change my views or affects my thoughts of the game in any way, or have I received any money or offers to give them a better review. So sit back and enjoy my truthful thoughts of this game.
Hi everyone, this is Cyber here. I'm here today to bring you a new video review of Alone in the Dark, the remake for 2024. I want to say before I get into the review, I want to say thank you to Pieces Interactive and THQ Nordic for sending me a review copy. I was super excited to play this game, and I want to say thank you to them for letting me check it out early. Let's talk about the story, what it's about. Exploring Deco Manor in the reimaging of Alone in the Dark, a love letter to the 90s cult classic horror games set in the Gulf of America's South in the 1920s. Alone in the Dark features a Nordic setting with classic Lovecraft horror elements where the familiar meets the surreal. We are thrilled to bring this classic IP back to the new generation of players to provide an experience that feels both familiar and modern. Created by a small, dedicated team, Pace Interactive brings you a tale of mystery, focus of death's atmosphere, and strong character performance. So where does it all start? The premise is Jeremy Hartwood has gone missing, prompted by the disturbing letter to his niece, Emily Hartwood. Engages private detective Edward Carnbaugh to accompany her to Deco Manor, an old house deep in the bayou, now a home for the mentally fatigued. So when you start the game, you start as choice based, so you can either play as Emily or Edward. It features as choosing you want to be the main character or who will be the side character you will meet from time to time. Furthermore, there will be a nature of same story beats, but eventually it will break off where they have a different story. The beginning will start the same, but eventually down the line it will change. That means when you interact with NPCs, depending on what will happen, what you've done, the dialogue will change, which is very interesting. I played Edward first, and I like the actor for that character. That's why I chose him. I am playing Emily now, and I have noticed that things do change from the beginning even. So I'm very interested to see where her story goes, that Edward story went. So let's get into my thoughts on the story. Story-wise, and this review is where I don't spoil too much, where like I don't spoil the story really or anything, but my thoughts on the story is I actually really enjoyed it. I never originally played Alone in the Dark game. I've seen gameplay, I've seen people play it, but I never played the original. There is a mode you'd switch back to the old graphics, and I did try for a little bit later on to try it out, see what it looks like. Just wanted to feel I wanted to get the new graphics, so that's what I stayed with. But story, I felt like it had a good amount of storytelling to keep me interesting. One of the things I really enjoyed is, you know how a lot of games you pick up something, you have to read through it, and I'm not a biggest fan of reading. They actually have a voice actor read it to you, whoever wrote it. And I really enjoy that. I really appreciate it because I can sit here and listen to them read it for me, and I get more from it than just me simply read it. I care a lot more.
Please do not touch the boiler. It is working after all. While the sabotage has caused a leak, only the decorative plate has been completely ruined. Let's wait for Mr. Chance to turn up and he can take a look at the leak. Mr. Waits.
So story I really enjoyed. I think it was done really well. Feel like they had the right mixture of breaking up, like learning story, horror, action, that kind of stuff. So let's talk about graphics and how the performance was of the game. So graphic wise, I don't think it's the best looking game. It's not Final Fantasy or any of them AAA games. But for their budget and the team that did it, I think they did a really good job. I think the models look great. The environment looks scary, looks great. Now there was some frame issues, but they do have a day one update that's coming out and post that fits a lot of that stuff. So hopefully it does perform better. Now I will say, I did get stuck a few times. I actually had to restart, and I had some glitches where things were floating, that kind of stuff, and I will show you that right now. Yeah, there were some glitches. I got stuck a few times. One time I got stuck where I actually had to reload because I couldn't get out of it. Most of the time I could get out of it. Hopefully they fixed these issues and patches and that kind of stuff. So yeah, performance, it didn't run so bad. I did have some frame drops here and there, but nothing that it really affected story or combat or anything like that. Speaking of combat, let's talk about gameplay. So you could run around, you could walk. Gunplay was on spot. I really enjoyed the puzzles. That I will say, you do get a machine gun later, which is not really ruin the story. It's a weapon, but that gun you had to get a little bit getting used to. But the gameplay was solid. The only thing I had an issue with was the melee was kind of same animation, kind of didn't feel like different animation. It was very basic melee, but it didn't take me out of I didn't use it that often. I used it when I needed to. But overall, I think the gameplay was sufficient. I really enjoyed the puzzles. If you enjoy puzzles, you definitely will like this game. And there's a lot of listening to them and reading through stuff to find puzzles and that kind of stuff. I highly recommend collecting as much as you can. You do have to do 2 playthroughs to get everything. You have to go for Emily and you have to go through Edward to get all the collectibles, I believe, because I went through Edward and I did collect as much as I could. There were some things that said I still missed, and I was like, well, I went everywhere. I cleared out all rooms. Let's talk about audio. Audio, the voice acting's great. The performances were great. I will say some of the early dialogue or story was just a little weird, like, without ruining anything, because they were looking at one thing and like, oh, what's this? And then he's like, oh, no, don't worry about that. Look at this. Like, I was like, that's weird dialogue. Like, yeah, it just kind of ruined that moment, but it did get a lot better as the game went on. Audio, like music, voice acting, great. Sound of the environment, great. Music got me in the mood. I liked the environment a lot, and the audio was perfect for you. I felt like I was in a bayou, felt like I was in that time frame. And yeah, I really overall enjoyed this game. Like, story's great, graphics were mid-part, but not terrible. Gameplay wise, there could have been a little more scares, and it could have got harder because I really didn't think that, like, at any moment I was going to run out of ammo. I did get low on ammos sometimes, but never was too worried that I was going to run out of ammo. They did say, oh, probably as you get harder, like going to the harder levels, because I played on standard, it will get harder. But I played on standard and I didn't feel like I ran out of ammo all the time. I was cautious with my ammo, but not to where I was super worried. I will say some issues with the getting stuck and just the melee was kind of did bring the score down a little bit, but my overall thoughts were a 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the game. There were some issues, some of the glitches, some of the melee thing. Wishing it was a little bit more scary, a little bit harder, but if you're going in for story and just enjoying puzzles, this game knocked it out of the park with that. And that's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you excited about this game? Are you going to pick it up? Just leave anything down below. And I'll see you guys later.
Thank you for checking out this video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe.